Hi guys, welcome back to Metien Vlogs. We are happy to see you here, and as you can see, I'm alone today. My husband Adrian is not here. This is because today's topic is applicable to me directly. I'm going to tell you about my master's experience in Europe, and this is a request by one of you who wanted to know how is it when you study masters in Europe, what is my experience, what can I share out to people who would like to come to do their masters here in Europe. So let's get into it. Before we get started, I am Metrin and this channel is for Metien. We are a couple living here in France and we usually share videos about marriage, relationships, anything to do with family, even cooking and hair videos. So if you are new, karibu sana, and if you are an old subscriber, we are really glad that you get to join us and to watch our videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click that red button and make sure you switch the notification bell on so that you can be able to be notified when we share videos. So to my experience now in Europe, I studied in Germany, Austria and Netherlands. It was a 2 years master's course and I graduated last year in October, around there. The first point I would like to talk about is my experience with the professors and the lecturers. They are very helpful and professional in the way they do their things. I have never in fact had anything to do with professors harassing students or professors wanting to get into relationship with students. That has never happened to me or to anyone that I know in my 2 years. When you have questions, like you really need a professor to guide you in terms of doing practicals, in terms of writing papers, they are very friendly and they're very helpful. So what you do, definitely you have to write them an email and tell them you would like to have an appointment. So you just don't walk into their office anyhowly, you just don't stop them the way you want. You be professional as well, write an email or give them a call if they've given you a number and they'll be very helpful. The next point that I would like to talk about is the students. The masters in Europe can be in the local language of that country or it can be in English. Personally, I did an English master's program and it is an international. Most of the international master's programs are in English. So you'll find that the student composition is composed of people from different countries. In fact, it is interesting that my class, our school was in Germany, but we only had one German student. Only one German student, and the rest of us came from, some people came from Africa, like 3 of us, in Europe, different countries, America, you know, different parts of the world. So you'll find that the students have different cultures, we all look different, so we are able to bond in well because we are still adjusting to the European life. So I would also like to talk about the exams. As you know, everyone is usually afraid that the exams hard. I was also thinking about it a lot before I came. I was like, am I going to manage? You know, it's Europe, I'm from Kenya or whichever other country. But I can tell you, as long as you read your content and you do the practicals, you will manage well with the exams. This is not to mean you can just joke around and pass that exam. They are very strict with getting a threshold, a particular mark, for you to be able to proceed to the next semester. And if you have gotten a scholarship, by the way, they will not tolerate you if you just fail in the way you want or you're not getting the marks that you are required to get before you go. So different countries have different threshold for the mark, and usually they do it in terms of ECTs. They measure it in terms of ECTs. So when you complete your classes and you do your examination, you get a certain percentage, it has a grade. And then this grade goes into your transcript. We have practicals and we have theory. Like I said, different countries, different rules. For example, in Germany, whether you do practicals or you do an examination, the thing that will be graded in the end is the examination. They only grade something that you sat down and you wrote an examination. That's the rule of the country. So you'll find that they will make sure that you do practicals. These practicals will not be graded, but for you to proceed to the next semester, you must submit your practicals, you must show that you have learned ABCD and you are able to do these things well. In a country like Austria, everything that you do, even if it's an exercise, as long as you handed it over to the lecturer, it must be graded. So you'll find that you might have a course where you have 30% practicals and then 70% written exam, or 50-50, or even 100% practical. But at the end of it all, every exercise that you hand in will be graded. So like I said, just be open-minded. Whatever you meet in the country that you go to, be sure to do it and to submit as required by the rules of the school. In terms of attendance in class, usually they do not they don't say that you have to be 100% in class. Again, this depends on the particular master's that you're taking, because for me, for my case, my master's was full-time. So we used to have classes 8 to 5. Okay, 8 to 5, but maybe we'll have a 2-hour break or a 1-hour break, but it's not like the masters where you just have to study 1 hour in a day, So in fact, for my case, I did not work at all when I was studying, because most of my time was spent in school, either doing exercises for myself or attending classes or attending seminars, because you'll also have seminars, you'll have conferences, you'll have practicals where you're having group work with other students. So it really depends. But the thing is, they also want to make sure that your attendance is consistent. So in some cases, you'll actually be signing your register and they want to see, okay, does this person come to class? Because if they're giving you money to go to class to study and to produce results, you must have attend those classes. There are some people who attend courses whereby they're paying for themselves. I noticed that most of the courses where you pay for yourself, they're a little bit flexible, whereby maybe you'll be having 2 hours of class in a day, so you're able to get a student job to work, or you're able to do your own stuff, and then in the evening you go for classes. So again, be open-minded. Okay, so let's go to the platforms. In Europe, we always have a digital platform where you communicate in terms of handing in your assignments. If you have to, for example, download papers or download exercises, we have a platform, a school platform. So of course you'll have your login details. Usually when you get into the university, each university has its own platform. You will get the details and you'll be oriented on how it works. So if you have assignments, you have to upload it online, and it has a deadline. It also has specifications on how heavy the document you're uploading can be. So if you're maybe used to doing things manually, like handing in your papers to a teacher directly, or not dealing with digital platforms, be prepared that at least you'll have to deal with a digital platform, even if you're handing in some things manually, because maybe if you're having to print a map or you're having to draw something, you'll definitely hand it in manually, but your grade will be put online. And most of the things, like if you have notes for class and other things, they'll be given to you through the platform. Yeah, so the next thing I'd like to insist or to talk about is group work. You'll notice that when you're doing your masters, you'll have a lot of group work where they put you in groups. Either you select yourself. For my case, most of the courses we did, you choose maybe few friends you want to be in the same group work. How the group work works, they'll give you a topic that needs different expertise. Maybe it needs someone who knows how to program, someone who can write very well, someone who can design very well. So you make sure, or the lecturers make sure that they couple up people who have different expertise. So the idea is so that you can bring your best in whatever you're doing. You work together, you bring your best, and you produce a very, very good project at the end. So I liked this thing because it helped me to learn that even if you don't know everything perfectly, it's still possible to merge with people who know something well, and you know something else well that they don't know, and you come together and you make a project. So my master's experience was very good in that I was able to learn to work with different types of people, even different characters, people who do things last minute, people who don't communicate, but it's interesting. At the end of the day, it's a very good learning experience. I know most of you are wondering, okay, is it only about studying? There's nothing that is fun? The good news is that my experience, and I believe most other masters in Europe, you will study, but you will also have fun, even if it's tough, because most of these students are coming from different places and they want to explore Europe. So you'll find that, okay, you'll study, then maybe you'll say over the weekend we'll go to a particular country. And in Europe, it's very easy to travel around. As long as you have the visa or a resident permit for one country, for example, France, you're able to use it to go to Germany, to Belgium, to Netherlands, to all other countries. So it's just a matter of money, but still traveling is not as hard or as expensive. So you'll find that you'll study hard, yes, but you'll also have a lot of very good experiences in traveling, in learning cultures, in even learning languages. And some of these languages, they're offered free of charge by the universities. Most of the local languages, like if you study in France, you'll probably find that French is free in your university. And if you study in Germany, the same thing. So lecturers and professors also arrange for recreational activities to do with students, and I loved this because you get to bond with your lecturer aside from classwork. So you see them as a friend, you see them as a father figure or a mother figure, you know, or even a brother figure for those who are young, because you're able to maybe play football together or go for hikes. Most of the things that are done is like going to hike or going to drink outside for those who drink. For example, in Germany, you know, beer is something that is very, it's like a normal thing in Germany. So you'll have festivals to do with beer, and mostly the lecturers will invite students to go with them to enjoy. So if you like such things, don't worry, you will truly enjoy your experience in Europe. The second last thing, I think I already talked about languages, but someone may ask, do I need to know how to speak German or French for me to go to do my master's there? That it depends on the particular course you are doing and the language in which is being offered. But these countries, they have a lot of international people. So if you know English, you're safe. Even if you don't know the local language and you're going to study in English, you will manage, trust me. Maybe the experience is different for France and for other countries, because I understand that in France most people don't speak a lot of English, but in Germany, in Austria, Vienna, English is good to go, yeah? But it's advisable to make effort when you are in a country, try to learn the language, it is good for you. So lastly, I'm going to talk about job experience, because someone would like to know, after I finish my master's, will I be able to get a job? Is it easy to get a job? Again, this depends on your course, the course that you did, and where you are settling after your master's. For our case, most of the people who went back to their countries, they like got jobs very fast, because you know, you come back with papers and you come back with good practical experience. You know, you come back with a lot of experience which your local countries, your home countries are looking for. So people who went back to their countries, they easily got jobs. People who remained in Europe, it's not easy to get jobs, because the countries, they kind of prioritize the people who are here, like citizens of the particular country. And secondly, the language is an issue. So because they will like to employ someone who can speak their local language and be able to communicate with other people in the office. So if you're planning to remain probably in Europe, make sure you learn the language of that country. And for jobs, I can say for those who remain, the easiest way to get into the system is if you want to do a PhD, for example. You can easily do a PhD with your university if you get good grades and if you have a good profile. So when it comes to jobs, what I can say is you do the masters, study hard, and when it comes to that point in life, you'll cross that bridge when you get there. God has plans for you. Don't worry. If you put your trust in Christ, even if you do a course and you don't get a job immediately, whatever is meant to come for you, it will come. You keep doing your thing, work hard, and pray harder, okay? So, I believe we've come to the end, but there's one more but. Someone asked me, do I need to get a first class? Do I need to get a second class honors for me to get a scholarship in Europe? I don't know, maybe I should do a video to share some tips of getting a scholarship in Europe. But what I can say is this: most scholarships, to be honest, they need someone who got a first class or a second class honors, at least that way. But what I can tell you is, it is not written on stone that you must get a first class, you must get a second class for you to get a scholarship. Because I can tell you, whatever God has planned for you, it will come to pass, whether you got a first class, whether you got a second class honors, whether you got whatever. You just do your best. When you're making an application for a master's, do your best, follow the instructions, everything that is written there. If they say they only want first class, unfortunately that's a requirement. You can still try, and when you try, make sure you maximize on the points that they may want. If you've had practical experiences, you can even do something practical, make a map or make something and send them so that they can know you have capabilities. So don't worry about your grade. If you're in university right now, try hard and get a first class. Always, it's good to do your best. Even God expects us to, everything that you do it like you're serving God and not serving human beings. So if you need to get a grade, work very hard and get a good grade, okay? If you don't manage to get a first class or to get a second class upper, it's okay. Don't beat yourself over it. Still, I insist, God has good plans for you, okay? So that's it. That's what I had for you today. If you have any questions about masters in Europe or anything that you want me and my husband to talk about in our vlogs, feel free to let me know. Write in the comment section below and I will get back to you. For now, stay blessed, take care, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.